Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at Eric Clapton and his style of playing. Eric Clapton was a tough one because he's covered a lot of different styles. He's done everything from reggae to electric blues to Delta slide blues. So I kind of picked one of my favorite styles of his, which is the electric blues style. And as always, the tablature and MP3 jam tracks are available to download for this lesson at ActiveMelody.com. Click on the guitar lessons section at the top, and you can navigate to the this Eric Clapton lesson. All right, so let's take a look at what we're going to learn. Okay, so let's break this thing down. Now we're in the key of E, and even though this ends up being kind of a bluesy solo, it starts off in the major scale, and the blues scale, by the way, is the minor pentatonic scale. That's what it's referred to as. So the first little run that happens looks like this. And that's all it played in the major scale. And so note for note, let's break that down, what's going on there. So I'm starting on the 14th fret, the first string, or the E string, with my ring finger, and I do a double bend. And I end that bend by just kind of muting the strings with my right hand. Just kind of letting them fall there. Then we do another bend, kind of come up and down, landing on the 14th fret, and then we end up on the 12th fret first string. You apply a little bit of vibrato to that string. Then we drop down to the second string, or the B string, and do. And what that looks like is we're starting here on the 14th fret, second string, do a hammer on. Now I'm coming down to this note is the 13th fret, third string, or the G string. And just so you know, this hammer-on is a very Eric Clapton thing to do. He does that a lot when he's trying to really accent a note when he's playing. You hear him do that quite a bit. So if you really want to get kind of an Eric Clapton sound, try doing hammer-ons, especially repeat hammer-ons where you're trying to stress something, and you'll kind of get that signature sound. So anyway, now we go to the 14th fret, second string, and we drop down back to the third string, 13th fret, and we do this little slide down. We slide down 2 frets. So it looks like that. So when you slide down, you land on the 11th fret. Then we come down to the 9th. So sliding down to the 11th fret on the third string, and then we come down to the 9th fret on the third string. Then we're going to drop down to the 11th fret on the 4th string, or the D string, and then we land on the 9th fret G string. So let me play that whole run real quickly. Okay, so now we're going to drop down and play the bluesy part of the solo, which sounds like this. Now that sounds more complicated than it actually is. What you're going to notice here as I break this down note for note is that it follows a very similar pattern. And what this run starts here on the 5th fret, 5th string. Then we skip a fret and we jump up to the 7th fret, 5th string. Then we go to the 5th fret, 4th string, or the D string. Skip a fret again. Go to the 7th fret, 4th string. So now we're going to slide to the 9th fret on that 4th string. So that part goes. And then then once you're on the 9th fret, you're going to reach up to the 7th fret, but this time on the 3rd string or the G string, and just hit that note real quickly. And when you hit that note, you're going to come back to the 9th fret and slide back down to the 7th. So it goes like this. Then we're back to the 5th, back to the 7th on the 5th string. So let me do that whole run here. It looks like this. Let me do it slowly for you. Then we close out that bluesy run by jumping back to the 7th fret, 3rd string or G string, and we hammer on to the 9th fret. And then we go right back down this little scale here. So let me start you from here. We do the hammer on to the 9th fret, back to the 7th, then we're back down to the D string, 9th fret. We're going to slide our whole hand down, so we're not going to play this with the first finger. We're going to stay out with the ring finger on the 7th fret, back to the 5th fret. Now here's where you do a little bar on the 7th fret, 5th string, to the 7th fret, 4th string, back to the 5th fret, 4th string, and then we do 2 notes there on the 7th fret. So, see what I'm doing there? That's where I'm doing that little bar. That bar is happening on the 7th fret. So let me play that whole run backwards, or back down. It goes like this. Just kind of a little, kind of close it out with that 5th string. Just kind of let your, hand kind of fall off. So now you might have to practice that bit over and over again, but it's got a real bluesy sound. Okay, so now we come to the fun part of the solo. We come up here to the 12th fret, 2nd string. We do this massive bend. And what I'm doing there is I'm bending from here to the 15th fret on the 2nd string. So it's more than a whole note bend. You got to really practice that to get that bend. So once I hit the note, I hit it again and pull the note back down. And then I land here on the 10th fret, 2nd string. Then I'm going to slide. I'm going to actually hit that same note, but on the G string or 3rd string. And that's on the 14th fret. So that looks like this. Now we're here on the 14th fret, and we're going to go back to the 12th, 14th on the D string, 12th, 14th. Now we're going to do a bend. So it's, as you let your finger go, it'll just kind of, it's almost like, it's just a pull-off really. So that whole run sounds like this. Okay, so now we close out this solo with this fun little run that sounds like this. And that sounds more complicated than it actually is. But once you dissect it, you'll see that it's actually a bunch of repeat phrasing. So I'm going to play this thing note for note the best I can here. It's hard to do this when you slow it down. It always gets more confusing. So I'm going to start here on the 15th fret, 2nd string, the B string. We're going to start with a whole note bend. And then the 2nd note is the 1st string on the 12th fret. So those are your first 2 notes. Then you walk down like this. Okay, so let's learn that. That's kind of part 1. So first 2 notes. Now we're going to go 15th fret, 12th fret, 14th fret, 12th fret, bend on the 14th fret, back to the 14th fret, back to the 12th, and end on the 14th fret. Okay? That's part one. Now part two, once we're on the 14th fret here with our ring finger, we're going to quickly bar in the 4th and 3rd string, the D and the G string, so we can play that. So what I'm doing there is I'm barring the 3rd and 4th string there, and I'm playing just the D string, the G string, and the D string, ending on the 12th fret. Okay, so the solo up to this point sounds like this. Okay, now we close it out with this little run that starts on, there's a bend here on the 14th fret, 3rd string, and then we're barring the first 2 strings, so it's kind of a Chuck Berry. So here's what we've got thus far. Okay, then we close it out with this. And what that looks like is 15th fret again, 2nd string, down to the 12th, down to the 14th, back to the 12th on the 2nd string. So it's, and we do a little bend here on the 14th fret, 3rd string. Then we close it with a slight bend, or vibrato, I think is how I did it. And that's what that run looks like. Okay, so let's do that whole run now. I'm going to do it slowly, and then I'll do it up to tempo. Here it is slowly. Okay, and here it is up to tempo. And there you have it. There's the Eric Clapton guitar solo. Hopefully that made sense to you. If you need to download the tablature for this or the jam track so you can practice along, you can go to activemelody.com. Again, click on the guitar lesson section and look for this lesson. Otherwise, that's all I have for this lesson. We'll see you on the next one.